Look who's hiding over here. Who's this? Bendy? No. Come here. Bendy, come here. Good girl. Little raptor sticking her head out. Good girl. Yes.
That name Bendy.
Good girl. From my grandpa's old cow dog. Look at you, raptor girl. Has she eaten?
Today?
Today.
No. I just got her out.
Come on. Good girl. How are ya? Have you been having fun here? Huh? How are you, sweet girl? Look at that funny little dog. Who's that funny little dog? You don't know her, huh? Huh? You know where that place is, huh? Ooh, feels nice and warm in there. Yeah. So, we are here visiting Clint at Clint's Reptiles, and he's going to show us off the enclosure he has set up for little Miss Raptor.
This still isn't going to be her permanent long-term enclosure. I actually got this for a Burmese python that wasn't yet in, but when we needed a place to give Raptor a little more space than she'd had, this was the biggest enclosure I had that was just ready to go. And these are from Toad Ranch. They make really awesome PVC enclosures with pretty fronts and you know, this whole unit. She sure has been fun. You know, she's been a really great outreach animal. I get her out and we feed her here on the carpet, and you know, I show the tripod stance that they can do. You know, she's been really well behaved, especially for an Argus monitor. But you know, we knew because of the training that you've done, that was going to be part of the package. But yeah, she's been just tremendous, and I'm really excited to have you here today to show me a little bit of exactly how you were training her, so I can continue that same basic training in the future.
And we actually brought the old tongs that we always use, the purple ones. I don't know why I didn't bring them the first time. It was kind of silly, but I was really stressed at the time, to be honest, and wasn't thinking and wasn't even sure how long term it would be. It was kind of a, hey, let's get her into a good place where she can't hurt herself, and then we'll figure it out later. So I guess it was because I was thinking short term probably. But anyway, I brought the purple tongs. So now you'll be able to go ahead and use these when you're feeding her. It'll be...
so this is sort of her target. Yeah,
it's basically a target tongs is what they are. And that was the idea, was to make them very visible, a color that kind of stood out. And the downside is she'll often hit them instead of the food. So you'll find that she attacks them and then the food after. So, I mean, feel free to change it up, make a target that color, start using other tongs. I'm sure you've probably noticed that she feeds from the other tongs better because she's not attacking the tongs.
Yes.
But I also use those to let her know, hey, it's food time. So I kind of mixed target training with tong feeding into one. If you feel like that's not wise or there's a disadvantage or whatever, feel free to change up the system. Just that color is what she associates with feeding. So it'd be pretty easy to then transition it over to more traditional target.
This will be great, and just knowing even what color these are is a big deal, because Gus's target is sort of like a goldenrod, yellow-orange sort of a color. I'd be happy to show you how he does with his target as well.
Yeah, let's do a target with Gus and show his cage. I'm going to get a little shot here of, now she's kind of moving out of the shadows a little bit. She, as usual, is kind of leery eyeing the camera. But this is her enclosure. Let me take a few steps back and show you guys the size comparison to her. You can see the length of the enclosure. See, and that's, for me, it was more the width that we had a problem with in her enclosure at our house, was that the width was such that when she turned around she'd whack her tail. But this is a wider enclosure and a longer enclosure, but it's not as tall, so it's good for now. And like Clint was saying, she will be eventually moving into another enclosure. One thing, Clint, you were mentioning on the phone, you said that you went and saw a bunch of adult female Arguses.
I did.
And how would you say these adult females compared in size to young Miss Raptor here?
I would say they were almost exactly the same size as Raptor. And
Really?
So she seems to be a fairly typically sized adult female, but I agree, she's way too small to be ratting. Even the males. Now I've been honestly probably one of the more intimidating experiences I've had since doing our videos on Clint's reptiles. This has been a somewhat terrifying experience. This is the most nervous I've been behind this table with any lizard that wasn't an iguana. Was when we did a video with a big male Argus monitor on the table, because at the time I was very trapped in my spot, and he was huge. Hey dude. You're all right. Oh crap.
You good?
No,
You're good.
I'm not
See, if I
really.
stand up too fast, I'll spook him.
Yeah, don't do
We might
that.
get him to stand up though. That might be neat.
Yeah, that would be neat as long as he doesn't stand up on me. Though even he isn't really that big when you compare him to like a Nile monitor or a black throat or an Asian water monitor, those sorts of monitors. But when you've got him right at chest height coming at you angry. Oh crap. He was pretty intimidating in size. But I think an Argus, even a male, was going to be right at the edge of what you'd probably need to hunt rats, and I don't think the females would make it to that kind of size.
Yeah, I agree. And it was clear that her size or her growing has definitely slowed. She's not making the big changes, which leads me to believe that she's probably starting to wrap up her growth.
Yeah, I think that's very likely. She sure is great though.
Well, let's go look at Gus and his enclosure and what you do with Gus with the target feeding. This is a emerald tree monitor?
It is? Yes, yeah, the Argus, I can just let her out and run around.
Oh yeah, she's very accustomed to that, clearly.
That took a long time to get
that
level of trust.
Tree monitors tend to be pretty jumpy, isn't that the case?
Yeah,
At least the smaller ones especially.
If you get one as a baby, you can raise it up. Even if I had a secure room that I could handle him in, I think within a week or so, I could probably get him to be extremely handleable. But in here, he can get away from me, but he now doesn't run away from me like he used to. So even if he does get away from me in here, it's not nearly as big a problem as it once was. And he'll let me reach in and, I can touch his tail, and especially if he's got food, he's a lot more willing to let me do things.
Same with Raptor. Food's like the key to making her distracted. So not that she's that jumpy, but Yeah. Even Raptor, there's times when she's like, dude, don't touch me,
It's only been recently that I've been able to pick her up without giving her something to eat first.
Yeah.
Once she's working on food, you can do whatever for a while.
So here's Gus and his cage. And you see this is the future enclosure for little Miss Raptor. You see that's even bigger.
Twice the size of that other enclosure. This is the biggest thing I could fit in my basement for a long time. Put the tortoise pull out. Hey guys. When he's really hungry, he attacks with a pretty terrifying amount of enthusiasm. This is him being like it is pulled out. Good boy, Gus. There you go.
Yummy, yummy.
Look at those jaw muscles.
I know. They're intimidating. Hey, look at you, Raptor, up on your little log. What do you think of that little log? You like that? Up there? It was fun coming to Clint's Reptiles and seeing Raptor in her new home, seeing how she's doing. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll show you more next time.
Oh, crap.